Macchiera Guerini trova Cinema Repubblica TV per il signor Vaughan. Lei è anche sceneggiatore del film e ho letto che per alcune scene ha anche attinto un po' a alcune sue esperienze comiche, fra cui la scena dello yoga, quindi volevo sapere un po' di più di questa scena e poi come avete lavorato sulla sceneggiatura.
Well, I've written on all the movies I've done. This is the first time I've actually taken credit. But Wedding Crashers and Made with Favreau and that Peter produced. I've always written stuff and improvised, but really improvisation is writing. When you write, as you guys know, you have to sort of think of it. It's you know, you're writing it as you go. So sometimes we would write scenes before shooting them, and sometimes we would play around as we go. And I draw on life experience and things that I see. The yoga scene particularly was funny to me. About 10 years ago, I went with a girlfriend to a yoga class. And we go into this yoga class and she says, now, this is a very, very important yoga class. This is very spiritual. This is very much about the balancing in the mind and the body and the spirit. And there was a man that ran this yoga class who I thought was very kind of like a rooster, very, very arrogant, very confident. And he would go around and he would grab these women like in wrestling moves. And he would like dry hump these ladies while he was like teaching them yoga. And I thought, that's kind of a little bit weird. Like, I know he's the yoga teacher, but if he wasn't a yoga teacher, he could get arrested for some of the stuff that he's doing. So I just thought that was kind of funny. And then you take these regular people and you put them in the situation. And at first they're like, well, we have to listen to this guy, he's a yoga teacher. And then slowly as it goes on, it starts to go like, that's not really fun. I don't know if I like seeing my wife in that situation with that guy. So it's just an overcommitment to the absurd, the comedy. I did not have any life experience with swimming with sharks. That was something I had avoided for most of my life. So that was a new experience.
C'è una parte anche vero chiara sulla sceneggiatura, il lavoro sulla sceneggiatura, quanto è stato lungo, importante.
Well, I've always used a similar process where you bring the actors in prior to shooting and you'll sit around and you'll ask them, what do you think? Do you like this? How do you say this? What are you thinking of your character? And then sometimes we'll improvise there in the room. There's some things that Malin's character says in the movie, that's stuff that she came up with, that she actually said, well, I would say this. I always find it better if people feel comfortable to give ideas, then you get better performances, people feel more a part of it, they feel invested in it. And then when we get to the set, we have stuff that we think works that connects to other scenes. But but you're also allowed to play around. If you have an idea of something new, you can try something there as well.
Abbiamo domande? Alessandro De Simone.
Alessandro De Simone, Alphabet City, una domanda per Mr. Vaughn. Mi ricordo la prima volta che l'ho incontrata era nel 96 a Venezia con Swingers. Eravate due ragazzi, lei e John Favreau.
Anche tu, Alessandro.
Un sacco di anni. Mi sembra che
I was a thinner man then too.
Sì, non lo volevo dire. C'è un'evoluzione interessante nella sua carriera, perché siete partiti dall'essere due swingers, appunto due singoli impenitenti a Las Vegas, e poi nel corso della vostra carriera siete arrivati ad essere degli uomini sposati, sempre facendo ridere la gente ma affrontando ogni volta dei temi molto seri. Come siete riusciti a sviluppare nel corso degli anni questo vero e proprio concept di commedia e di vita? E poi come essere un produttore di successo, visto che ormai non sbagliate più un colpo, non voglio portare sfortuna ovviamente.
Venice was one of the only festivals that took swingers, and Favreau's in heritage, we're both American, but in heritage is Italian, and my grandfather is from Naples, and my mother is Italian. So for us it was a very big deal. We had never been to Venice, and to come to this festival was a big, big deal for us. You have to understand, when we wrote Swingers, we really did it out of a place of wanting to make a movie. We did not have a lot of opportunity. So Italy and the Venice Film Festival was one of the first people to recognize that movie, and it meant a tremendous amount to us. And that's one of our best memories that we have. And I think speaking to that, John came from New York City. In fact, his family on his father's side were all Italian immigrants, and they all lived in the same apartment building because the family was very close, and so they all lived in the same apartment building with each other. And his family was all school teachers. His father was a school teacher. His father's mom, grandmother, was a school teacher. And from my family was farmers, and my father was the first generation off the farm and was a salesman. And I was from outside of Chicago. And the reason I say this is, when we met doing the movie Rudy, which was filmed at Notre Dame, the college in Indiana, we both did a movie called Rudy, a football movie. We became friends right away because we had so much in common. We were very close with our families. I think we came from the middle part of America, so our relatives were people that were working, trying to pay their bills, trying the best they could to provide for a family. So although he was from New York and I was from Chicago, we shared similar values and similar perspectives on life. And I think that's what Swingers really dictates, is it's, at a time when a lot of people were making these independent films and they were always trying to come off so cool or so suave. We really made a movie where we were very vulnerable. We were trying our best with girls. It wasn't always going well. We were making mistakes. And I think that's what audiences connected to. They saw sort of, I think, a similar area with them and their friends that they could relate to. And so we've never lost that perspective. Even on the movie that Peter produced with John, which is Iron Man, what makes that movie works is those relationships, is those characters. Ultimately, that's the